Hi there, and thank you for coming back to Great Books for Kids, reviewed by Michelle Marcotte. I usually review new books highlighting new authors and illustrators, but not today. Today, the story of Babar, or in the French version that I have here, Histoire de Babar by Jean de Brunhoff, was first published in 1939. It's still one of my favorite children's books. I love the story, the illustrations done by Jean de Brunhoff, and I love that the story is written in his own handwriting. Now, this book does come with some warnings. In case you haven't read it or forget it from when you first read this book as a child, Babar was happily playing in the forest when a hunter kills his mother. Panicked, he runs away to the big city where he meets the kindly old lady who brings him to his department store to buy him a beautiful green suit and shoes, complete with spats. She raises him to be an elegant gentleman. She gives him a very fashionable convertible car, and when Babar's cousin comes looking for him, he falls in love with his cousin Celeste and returns to the forest where his education is admired by the elephants and the other animals. When the king of the elephant dies from eating poisoned mushrooms, Babar is elected king. It's a classic story of a country kid who adapts to city living and goes back home to make his part of the country better. Often books for children do not mention death, let alone 2 deaths in one book. But they are well handled. In my view, death is part of life, and it should be discussed at least occasionally. But especially when the mother dies, young children will need reassurance. You will want to use your judgment to see if your child can handle reading about that event. And I once read this book to a 3-year-old who later declared he would never eat mushrooms again. On the plus side, many of the copies of this book are written in cursive, which is not being taught in many schools, but it should be, in my opinion. If you want to help your kids to be able to read cursive, this book will be useful because they will want to read it. But you can also find versions in regular type font if you prefer to avoid cursive. The illustrations will amuse kids and adults. Just seeing an elephant in a green suit and wearing a Homburg hat and spats will make you chuckle. You can find the story of Babar, or Histoire de Babar, in English on Amazon.com and in English and French on Amazon.ca. I've put the links in for you below. Thank you for coming back to Great Books for Kids, reviewed by Michelle Marcotte. I'd love to hear your comments. Bye-bye.